Children often utilize drawing to express emotions they cannot comprehend, but sometimes they simply draw what they know. If a child draws pictures, holding hands with strangers, there might be more going on. Martin and his wife have a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. Recently, Martin shared something disturbing he and his wife discovered. Their daughter, whom I'll call Jess, loves to draw, so they supply her with all the necessary art materials to keep her occupied for hours. She has a Crayola backpack filled with markers, colored pencils, crayons, and construction paper. Jess has stacks of drawings in her room and backpack, mostly innocent ones. However, one day, Martin found a picture in Jess's room that confused him. Initially, it depicted a random-looking woman holding Jess's hand, not his blonde wife. It was a brunette woman. Martin asked Jess who the woman was, and she said it was the woman who visited her. It sounded like something a child with an imaginary friend would say. When Martin inquired about her friend's name, Jess said Lucia. This immediately alarmed Martin. He showed his wife the picture and asked if it resembled her sister. Initially, his wife said it could be anybody. But when Martin mentioned that Jess said her name was Lucia, his wife gave him a telling look as if she immediately understood. Lucia was Martin's wife's deceased sister, who passed away before either of their children were born. The couple went to Jess's room and asked who Lucia was exactly. Jess again said she visits sometimes, trying to gather more details. They asked what time she usually visits and what they talk about. She mentioned she visits at night, sometimes when she's drawing. Martin's wife requested Jess to draw another picture of Lucia the next time she sees her, this time with more details, and Jess agreed. From then on, Martin and his wife kept the door slightly open, just so they could hear if Jess was talking to someone. A few nights later, while in the kitchen, the couple suddenly heard Jess talking to someone in her room. They quietly approached the room to listen to what she was saying. There were long gaps between Jess's words, but she was clearly conversing with someone or something that wasn't there because she seemed to be responding to questions the parents couldn't hear being asked. At one point, Jess said they asked about you when they saw my picture of you, they want me to draw you again. Then she stopped talking completely. That's when Martin and his wife entered the room and asked if she was talking to Lucia again. She nodded, and they asked where in the room Lucia was. Jess turned and looked around, then focused on the corner and said she's standing right there. Martin and his wife looked but saw nothing, yet they both agreed. They felt an uneasy feeling in the room and were extremely uncomfortable. Martin's wife softly asked Jess to draw Lucia's current appearance in detail, and after Jess agreed, the couple left the room. Jess didn't speak anymore, leaving the parents feeling a little uneasy. Shortly after, Jess called her mom back into the room, so both Martin and his wife returned to her room. She presented a new picture. This picture confirmed the couple's fear. In this new drawing, Jess depicted Lucia with blue eyes, a small mole above her lip, and dressed in white. Lucia was buried in white, had blue eyes, and a small mole above her lip. Martin's wife was never close with her sister, having only attended the funeral briefly, so Jess had never learned of her deceased aunt. Yet there were no pictures of her around the house for Jess to have seen. Martin and his wife informed Jess that they didn't want her talking to Lucia anymore. This was not because Lucia had done anything particularly horrible in her life, but rather because she genuinely scared the couple. They allowed a priest to bless the house and ask any spirits to leave in peace. According to Martin, they haven't had to deal with any further instances. Subscribe.